This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today, we have a lovely neighbor on with us, and that is the Stephanie Gourlie of Intent Stone Design. What's going on, love?
Hey, hon. How are you? Nice to see you today.
Doing well. You were messaging me before the show saying, hey, I'm outside in the sun. Can I do the podcast out there? And I was like, well, you could, but how many bars do you got there? So anyways, we picked a more suitable location to do something like this. But I can't blame you if you're asking. If it was up to me, I'd be doing this in my gazebo on my backyard, 100%.
Well, don't get me wrong. It wasn't anything social or relaxing. I was walking around a stone yard looking at slabs. So just trying to make the most of my background.
100%. So me and you have had the opportunity to cross paths a few times now, starting to build a bit of a friendship together. And I've been really excited for this opportunity to finally have you on the show and get to tell your story, get to know you a little bit better. And so with that being said, why don't we dive right into it? And why don't you tell us a little bit more about your business?
Sure. So in 2015, I started this particular line of fabrication. So still stone, granite, quartz countertops, but also really getting excited with tile and really playing with the physics and science and the details that can go into, you know, your everyday project when it comes to stone. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, simple, straightforward kitchens and vanities are no problem. But what's really cool about what I've been doing with Intent and my team here is custom, really intricate, unique projects where people are kind of trying to defy the normal boundaries, so to speak, with stone.
So let's dive in and unpack that a little bit more. When you say that at the surface level, it sounds super interesting. But for somebody like myself that I'm not overly familiar with this kind of stuff, I know what a retaining wall looks like. I know what a countertop looks like. Sure. I've never found that I've always had an eye like some people like yourself do when it comes to being able to envision a project. You can see it in your own mind. How would you be able to describe what some of this more intricate stuff would look like?
Well, like shower walls, or one of the very first projects that I did, and it was actually in a really cool, it was supposed to be a kitchen renovation that ended up being an entire rebuild of a home, was we wanted to have like a feature in the kitchen. And the contractor and I were kind of talking, and I said, well, what if we actually bolted dramatic stone to the ceiling over the island so your eye draws up and it really, you know, adds some other visual elements to the room. And it was kind of, you know, everyone in the shop, so to speak, was like, oh, that's not a good idea. That's not possible. But the contractor and I were like, well, why not? If we use some really big bolts, we use some really strong adhesives, like there's no reason we can't do that. And we did. I mean, I can find the kitchen because it really was a cool project. But that was really kind of, in my mind, one of the first things that stands out when I said, you know what, I really think there's some cool projects here that we can do. And let's find some people that want to live kind of on the edge and do some fun things. So yeah, so it's kind of stuff like that. I mean, shower walls, fireplaces, outdoor barbecues, all that stuff we can absolutely do, but why not make it edgy? Why not make it fun? So
well,
that's
100%.
it.
I mean, those are all spaces, like you mentioned, we as human beings spend a lot of time in those spaces. And if you can make it unique, if you can make it different, especially for somebody like me that likes to host people, you know, that's the thing that you can really be proud about, where now it becomes a focal point of your house or that particular part of the home. And I'm going to assume it's also going to increase the value of the home as well.
Well, I mean, I hope so. Some people's taste might not be what, you know, works to the masses, but yeah, absolutely. Like, again, you're being really creative and so why not? It absolutely should.
Do you have any like fun stories of, you know, a client that you ended up doing something and really kind of banging out their vision that they had and they kind of lost their mind in a really positive way?
I've got a couple of stories like that. I mean, one family, done a couple cottages out on islands. So it's always fun kind of transporting the stone and the logistics of making that all come together. But really happy family up on Lake Joe. They have us doing their entire build in their main home in the city. And it's been really cool working on this over the last few years with my team. and just some of the intricate parts of like their living rooms and their bedrooms when it comes to fireplaces. And we're getting ready now to start tackling some other elements in the home. It's really neat to be invited back and to be able to continue to work with them as they, do more and take on more themselves. So it's exciting.
Very cool. Well, I'm interested in asking you, like, how do you get into, like Julie, for example, she's addicted to rocks, right? She loves rocks. Anytime we go anywhere, we just I was telling you before the show, on Saturday, we went out, and of course we get back here in Chanel, our daughter, she's like, so Mom, did you bring home a rock? And I'm like, no, I didn't see her bring one. She opens up her hand. She had a rock. And of course, different types of rocks, different types of meanings, different types of things. But for yourself, getting into playing with rocks, so to speak, with stone, how do you get into something like that? What's your journey been into doing what you do today?
Oh my goodness. Well, my first business with stone, my journey with stone, I guess, started back in 2008, when I just started kind of having an eye and picking colors and just being part of that selection process, really not knowing much about design other than I could read blueprints. I've always enjoyed watching and interpreting things come to life off paper. But then just having the opportunity to see different stones through my last business relationship, my partnership with another company here in town, which some of you have heard of. I've been doing this for a really long time, but I fell in love with blueprints probably as a child. My parents, I remember they would build every house that we lived in. So every few years we would always end up moving because they would find a new home in a new area of the GTA that they wanted us to grow up in and spend time in, my brother and I. And we spent a lot of times in model homes looking at blueprints. And I started, really understanding and appreciating watching, like I said, it come to life. Going to actually the site and watching the house get constructed over time was something I've really fallen in love with and taken a passion to. So it's the same with this. It's nice to be able to pick the elements that will bring the space together and then interpret the blueprints and then watch it come to life and watch it go to site.
Yeah, watching something come to life really does bring a fondness to the heart because there's something special there. You had your hand in kind of creating that, but having that vision, like I said, between actually being able to see it in your own mind and then seeing it come to life must be pretty extraordinary. That fulfilling part for you, is that what kind of keeps that passion going for you?
I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely days where you want to pull your hair out. I mean, clearly I've cut mine off, so I'm seemingly having more of those days recently than not, because things happen, but it's all about how you handle it, setting realistic expectations, understanding that, things happen, projects can change, the scope can change, and then trying to work with whether it's the homeowner, the designer, the contractor to bring the vision to life is definitely something that, keeps you on your toes. So it's really never always the same thing every day. Every project is unique.
So you mentioned, outdoor patios, showers, kitchens, and then of course, you have your countertops and stuff like that. Is there more popular projects still happen in the kitchen these days, or are people coming in and doing a lot of other stuff around the house, or is it a bit of a kind of a mishmash out there in people's interest level?
Well, that's just it, right? Again, it's trying to find different ways and different things to do with marble and quartz and granite. So, I mean, pools, so outdoor kitchens. I hate to say, kitchens, but again, outdoor eating spaces, tables, walls are huge elements. Even floors. A lot of clients are leaning towards marble floors. There's different applications for different types of stone, just depending on what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to accomplish. Pool floors, like you can do a lot with all of that. Not every day. You definitely don't see those kind of projects pop up often, but they happen. A lot of focal walls too. A lot of focal walls. So
what's a focal wall?
So like my background is not a focal wall, but like a really pretty attractive wall that kind of draws the eye. So it becomes the art, so to speak, in the room.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Any like myths or misconceptions when it comes to your line of work? Oh,
there's probably tons. One of the good ones back in the day was that red Bordeaux, which is a red granite, really pretty. It's not so popular right now because, again, it's one of those colors that, I mean, nobody really wants red countertops these days. But red Bordeaux used to produce an off gas that was toxic. So that was always crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. At some point, I'm sure that was the case, but that's definitely nothing to be worried about in today's day and age. Quartz countertops do not like heat. Granite countertops do. Everything can stain, chip, or break. So don't be fooled. It's not superior. Everything still can add value to the home too. So there is no right, wrong, or otherwise, but there's definitely one of those are a couple of the good ones, I would say.
Do you find when someone's coming in for a kitchen, for, the quartz countertops and the marble and stuff like that, you find you're doing a lot of educating with the clients? Do you think that's something that people kind of like are educated on, they know about, or you find you're doing a lot of educating with people?
People still don't even know that you can buy countertops locally. And I say that respectfully. Yeah, they'll see something on TV or in a magazine and they don't understand, or their designer doesn't understand the realities or the temperamental nature of the type of product that they're actually looking for to create that look. So often I'll meet a client that's like, hey, I saw this and I want this. And it's like, well, okay, what are you trying to achieve really? Because that might be the look you're after, but that might not be the stone that you want. So yeah, a lot of it is educating people just to make sure, again, that they're getting what they really can use depending on what they're trying to achieve, what their goals are. Yeah,
no, 100%. I love this question. It's one of my favorite questions. As human beings, the word balance is the wrong word. I like to use the word harmony because balance is even when there's a balance, and we tend to work a little bit more than we play. But it's an opportunity to really get to know the people who are behind the scenes, who run our businesses here locally. And so when you're not working on or in your business, what does Stephanie like to do for fun?
Oh, wow. So I don't think I'm tons of fun. I'm trying to reinvent what my fun looks like. I'm really spending a lot of time with family these days, especially, I mean, it's summertime right now. So it's great that the kids are off school and trying to make the most of, quality time that we have around the house. And we like to get out on the water where we can and just try to take that in, or, swim wherever we can. I've also always set a goal and said to myself that I want to run a marathon. And I don't know why I have set this goal, but running has been something that I've always enjoyed. And I don't know if I'm actually going to tackle the full 42 because it's kind of one of those feelings of like, oh my gosh, this is insane. But I do enjoy going out for some my steps, getting my steps in, whatever that looks like, working out, all that good stuff too. But yeah, pretty normal stuff. What about you? How are you spending your time these days? I mean, obviously I've done a lot of volunteering, and like you said, we've seen each other out and about a ton of times in all sorts of places, but any similarities for you there?
Yeah, I like to run as well. Not the long distance stuff. Not to say that I would never challenge myself to do a marathon. My parents have ran multiple marathons.
Nice.
I think my dad crushed 4 of them, and my mom did 2. And I've watched my dad pass the finish line on the Winnipeg Marathon.
Oh my God!
So he did that one, and we saw him at a couple points. I was with my uncle, his younger brother, and so we watched him kind of do that race. He did Chicago. I want to say he did Boston, and then he did another one. And my mom ran to herself as well. So you look at my dad now, and you'd say no way. Because he's a bit of a heavier guy, but no, he did it. They were at a big running phase. So I've had kind of back problems, just kind of like growing up. I think more of getting a stronger core and making sure I keep up with my core muscles. That's everything that holds your body together, right? So I like to do trail running. And I've got a 3-year-old Australian Shepherd, and I live northwest of the city, and there's all kinds of trails just around the corner from here. So I typically run with my neighbor on Mondays after work. We'll head out there. So being out in nature is big for us. And Julie and I are pretty much the same person, except she's female and I'm a male. So fishing, camping. We're going backcountry camping this weekend.
Oh, wow.
Up north with my future brother-in-law, Pat, and my youngest sister, Chantal. And we're going back to a kind of a secret place that we always enjoy going. It's not too much of a hike to get in. It's about a 20-minute hike. So anytime we need to, get back to the truck for other sorts of food, that type of thing. And we have some other camping trips that are planned. I'm doing another backcountry camping trip with Jeff Gartner, our co-host on the show, and then heading back up north into northern Sudbury. There's a place called Three Corner Lake. It's about an hour and a half north of Sudbury. And so my parents have a camper. They bring their camper. Julie and I tent out, and there's a piece of crown land that her parents have been camping on for like 25 years. The fishing is phenomenal. We bring our boat, then we just catch fish and get up away. We're going to probably do 5 or 6 days on that trip over a long weekend, take a couple extra days here or there.
Yeah.
You can get like one cell phone signal if you want, but I'm just pretty much turning off my phone and not looking at my phone for 6 days. I find when I do that and I come back, like I'm so much more kind of willing to want to come back and energized, ready to come back, and not having to work about, obviously when you're a business owner, you're thinking about stuff all the time and what's going on. You mistakenly look at your phone when you're not supposed to look at your phone. And then there's an email that comes through and you're like, oh my God, now I got to deal with this.
It's so true. It's so freeing to be able to go without your device for a while. I mean, I hate to say, yeah, I'm always working. You're always working. It's what it is. It's the nature of just wanting to make sure you give your clients the best experience possible. But it is so liberating to just not answer your phone for a night or two or not look at it.
100%. We've got some aspirations to want to buy a piece of land up north.
Nice.
On a good fishing lake, and then have about a 5-year build plan, put a camper up there, and then we'll also have a spot for anybody else that wants to kind of come and enjoy us, and we'll have something that's ours that we get to, like we have friends, you have friends that, their fathers or grandfathers, built this by hand back in the 40s or 50s, and they are the lucky privileged ones that had stout people that, took on those life challenges back in the day that wanted to build something that were greater for themselves. And I, unfortunately, and didn't get to experience that. And all my family living in Winnipeg, they're all almost still there, except for one uncle. We moved when I was pretty young. I was only 7 when we moved here. So we have to build those legacies ourselves. And that's something that's been on my mind ever since I was pretty young, was to not only be able to have that to enjoy it for myself, but be able to leave on a bit of a legacy kind of behind.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
And then, you got your summertime. We're all trying to enjoy it the most we can. June, I feel like flew by like so quick.
Every year always does, right? Before you know it, I hate to say it's the end of summer. It's the middle of August and you're getting ready to go back to school. So it's just, it's been a crazy couple of years. I mean, everybody's had their own share of whatever their journeys look like with their businesses or with work. So no different. Last year was a little bit slower or a little bit, again, different, but people are still building. Obviously, our economy is doing whatever it's doing. And so it's neat to still find these really cool projects and work on them as they make sense for my team and I. Like we really enjoy, like I said, getting involved and doing lots of different things. But I hate to say, like, we're only by appointment. We're really particular. I don't do a lot of advertising because it's all referral based. So it's really just kind of, making sure that we're the right fit for whatever that solution is and going from there.
100%. Well, in life, we always pick these paths that we think, hey, this is the path of life I want to walk. We pick them based off of a bunch of different reasons, whether they're life goals or who we are, or what we're looking to attain, whatever the case is. And then life sometimes gets in the way. It throws things at us, gives us obstacles, life challenges. Some people experience unfortunate tragedies. And, as human beings, we have to push forward and move forward from those things. That's a part of life. And I've always been pretty amazed at human beings and their ways to push through adversity and see the glass half full, try to, find silver linings from something that happens in their life and try to learn from it, be better from it. So I wanted to ask if you've ever experienced a hardship or a life challenge that maybe you rose above it, maybe it made you stronger, maybe you took some silver linings from it.
Well, you know what, to be completely honest. I feel like sometimes I'm a little too honest. That's kind of how this whole business was formed. So unfortunately, I was in a relationship. I was married, and that marriage did not, well, it ended. And then this business kind of was something, it was a matter of, well, what am I going to do? My husband at the time and I had another business, which we still have, and we're still, you know, sorting out some details there. So being, again, a business owner, you wear many hats, you got lots going on. But back in 2015, when we separated, it was a question of, I don't know what my future looks like. I mean, of course, I can fall back on what I had done previously, which was human resources, as I had mentioned, you know, obviously design and having that selection process and having access and interest in quartz and granite and fabrication, because I'd had that experience for a long time. But yeah, it was like, what am I going to do? And I really enjoyed this. And I had an opportunity to take on a tile store, and that kind of is what grew to where I am today. So yeah, it's been tough. And, you know, trying to be a single mom and run your own business and get divorced is not easy. And then, yeah, I've got aging parents and trying to maintain relationships and friendships and family members. It's been life. It's still life. It's still a reality that I'm, you know, working on. And that's one of the reasons, again, I'm really grateful to have Intent and be able to be a little more independent, because it can be really scary out there. And don't get me wrong, some days it still definitely can be. I don't want to say you don't know where your next paycheck's coming from, but you know, if you don't work, you don't get paid. So it's been, yeah, there's been some vulnerabilities. There's been some challenges there, some adversity, but I'm making the most of it. And I'm in a great relationship now with a great person, and we're really happy for that. My kids are doing well. They're growing up, and seemingly they're going to be okay. So I think I will be too.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to wish any hardship on anybody, but you know, there's sometimes the universe, we think it's doing things to us, but really it's doing things for us, and finding those silver linings on the other side, getting an opportunity to see the full picture and look back on it can really do the brain wonders. Like you said, you're in a really good relationship now, and your kids seemingly fine. Obviously, as you continue to move forward, you'll keep rocking it as a mom, like I know that you do. They will be more than just okay, and everything always works out in the end. Sometimes just trust in that process. It's really hard to fail when you're putting your head down and you're working hard every single day. I know that you have that in you. I seen the type of applause that you got from our very Chamber of Commerce members, and me being new as an ambassador for the chamber, and seeing that level of respect. There's absolutely no way that you would do anything other than succeed. So some positive things to keep in mind there, for sure.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. I mean, obviously also wanting to be a role model to not only my own kids, but to many others is important. And yeah, that kind of sets the tone as you go through your life, where you want to be, where you want to end up, what you want to see. And obviously just wishing good things for people, and hopefully, you know, they wish the same for you, but you keep moving forward. And I really appreciate everything you just said. That's really kind of you. Thank you.
No worries, anytime. You know, we get busy. We're in a busy world, and I see in the way that people look at you in that room, I like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character. And as much as I do talk, especially in social circles and social settings, I like to think I'm a pretty good observer as well too. So sometimes when things are tough, maybe remember the legacy you're leaving behind, because it seems like it's a pretty darn good one from what I can see.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. You just made my day. Thank you. I needed that. I definitely needed that.
Awesome stuff. So what's one things that you wish that our listeners knew about your business?
Call me directly. Honestly, I think that's the biggest thing. Reach out to me directly. 705-717-4721. And I say that not to be cute or coy, but I'm available. I'm accessible. And granite and quartz is a really great product. Tile, flooring, there's so much you can do. If you've got questions, I mean, give me a call. I'm happy to talk about it. Like whatever you need. I think that's really the biggest thing. A lot of my clients these days too, you know, people have been shopping virtually. So there, as much as people want to come into a storefront, or you want to go to Home Depot, for example, Home Depot doesn't build the countertops. I build the countertops. People like me, fabricators, build the countertops. So, I mean, it's good to go in there again to get your inspiration, but give me a call if you've got questions and let's figure out what you're trying to do.
I would imagine, especially for like most people, if you've never done it before, how do you know what the journey is supposed to look like? How do you know what you're walking into? You know, you might have an idea or so, but having an opportunity to talk to a local professional goes a really long way to making sure that your vision of what you have as a consumer is what it is. And if you're listening to the show and you're a contractor, well, kind of same thing, right? You want somebody reliable, a good business. That's a good opportunity to be able to reach out and ask the questions that you need to ask. So that oftentimes referral partners, alliance partners, they can make the biggest difference for a local business.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. That's well said.
Amazing conversation. Absolutely loved it. Would definitely do this in the future with you. I normally ask what's one of the best ways people can reach you. You already stated that, but if you could one more time for us, that would be great.
Sure. No problem. I got email. You can find me on Facebook, of course. My cell number again, 705-717-4721. Steph Gourlie at gmail.com. Steph@stephanieg.ca. What else? Smoke signal, carrier pigeon. You see me at Costco, just say hi. Whatever's easier for you.
Amazing stuff. Well, thank you very much again for doing this. And
thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it. I know we've been trying to nail this down. Sorry to interrupt, but I really enjoyed the conversation. It's been good.
Awesome stuff. No, super glad, and wish you all the best.
Thanks, hon. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com or call 705-413-3775.